Good evening. Welcome to the April 17th regular council meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Chuck, would you give the invocation, please?
Our dear Lord, we thank you for this gorgeous day. We wouldn't please try to give us some.
We have any communication from the audience? Okay. We have the April 2025 Tyler County Child Abuse Prevention Month. The proclamation is by the city of Ivanhoe. Whereas there were 53,543 victims confirmed reports of child abuse or neglect last year in Texas, and whereas there were 99 child deaths as a result of child abuse or neglect last year in Texas, and whereas there were 242 reports of child abuse or neglect last year in Tyler County, whereas there were 49 confirmed victims of child abuse or neglect last year in Tyler County, whereas there were 9 children removed from their homes because of child abuse or neglect last year in Tyler County, whereas there were 6 children reunification with family last year in Tyler County, whereas there were 8 children adopted with new families last year in Tyler County, whereas child abuse and neglect is a community problem affecting the current and future quality of life of a community, and whereas child abuse prevention is a community responsibility and finding solutions depends upon involvement among all people. And whereas communities must make every effort to promote programs that benefit children and their families, and whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of the partnerships among agencies, schools, religious organizations, law enforcement agencies, and other business community, and whereas everyone in the community should become more aware of child abuse prevention, and all citizens should become more involved in supporting families to provide safe, nurturing environments for their children, giving them the opportunity to grow up to be caring, contributing members of the community and society. Now, therefore, I, Skip Blackstone, Mayor of the City of Ivanhoe, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim the month of April of this year, 2025, to be Child Abuse Prevention Month in Tyler County. I also proclaim that Sunday, April 27th, 2025, to be Blue Sunday, and in so doing, urge all citizens to join in a national effort to raise awareness about the importance of preventing child abuse and showing support by wearing blue in support of the prevention of child abuse and neglect. That's all I have to do right now. Okay. The consent agenda, like we have the minutes from the regular council meeting on March 20th. Like a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? Pardon?
Second.
Okay. Bobby seconded it. All in favor now? Okay, we move on. Okay. Mayor's report. Let's talk roads. Mill Creek, Part 1, paving has been completed. Speed limit signs have been ordered. There's still the dogleg further west that needs clearing. before the work can begin there. The clearing may have already been done. Some of the fill dirt may have been brought in, but it's still under construction and not passable. 22nd Street, the repair has been made with Type D asphalt. It's an overlay over the sections that were in question. It's considered complete now. Galahad Loop, there still remain sections requiring warranty work, but at least it's on the schedule with Texas Materials now. They're going to go in, and parts of it are okay. The parts of Galahad Loop that are not will be torn up and relaid. Lake Camelot Circle, there will be a complete excavation of the existing road with the subbase being treated with lime. The excavated material will be stored on 22nd Street. Once the subbase has been prepared, that material will be returned to the road. It'll be treated with cement and then covered with 1.5 inch of Type D asphalt. This road is a priority to get done before work begins on Camelot Dam so that the contractors are not tripping over each other. Lakewood Drive, it's paved. It's near done. They have to do the shoulder up and the turnouts yet. All in all, Elite Construction has done a great job with the laying of the road on Lakewood Drive. Camelot Dam, the pre-bid has been done. Bids have been opened and evaluated, and the recommendation for the award to Lakey Construction has been made. The contract has been signed by Lakey and has been reviewed by legal, and that is complete. We have the certification to move forward. We've already scheduled the pre-construction meeting, and it's in the next couple of weeks. I don't have the exact date, but it's come to light that being a good steward and spending the grant money wisely has backfired a little. Lakewood Drive construction came in below the estimated cost. By law, GLO allocates 8% and 15% of the grant total for grant administration and engineering, respectively. Since Lakewood came in $500,000 below the estimate, we are potentially on the hook for an unexpected expense of $123,000. Because the contract on Camelot Dam came in approximately $2 million below the original estimate, we are potentially on the hook for $583,000 for a total of $707,000 in unexpected grant management and engineering fees. The reason right now is that GLO is in the process of deallocating funds to drive a HUD project. We've been told that we are allowed a waiver. That's the good news. The bad news is that it used to be one waiver per project, then it went to one waiver per grant, and now it's one lifetime waiver per entity. There's nothing in writing, just someone making these decisions on their own. We're still not into this enough to have any answers yet, other than the intent is to talk to Trent Ashby and Don Buckingham's office and the two ladies that are making these decisions. They're arbitrary decisions. There's no written decision that's been made. I've told both the grant administrator and the engineering company that we absolutely have no money to pay $700,000 to them. Our annual budget is $844,000. There's just no way. The good news is we still, however, have the Tristan Dam and the S-turn on Lakewood, as well as Lake Ivanhoe Dam project. These are all projects that are underneath that same one grant. There is the possibility that the offset monies could be made up in the construction costs incurred on Tristan Dam and the S-turn, as well as Lake Ivanhoe's dam. It kind of goes against the grain quite a bit, but this The GLO looks at the $11 million grant as a single project, and since this was broken down into 10 separate projects, the total contract price for Tristan and Ivanhoe will hopefully make up the difference to offset this $700,000 balloon payment that they're talking about. At a minimum, Council needs to be drafting a letter to folks at GLO to voice our concern and displeasure, but we need to draft this letter in the most positive and realistic light as possible. In other news, the office is in the process of implementing a phone system utilizing voice over IP. This is a cost-neutral upgrade and will help the office to run more efficiently. Currently, we have a single line for City Hall with non-secure cordless phones. When someone calls in and wants to speak with someone in the office, the person receiving the call has to get up and carry the phone into the other room. Additionally, if someone is on the phone and another person calls in, the caller gets a busy signal and the person on the phone gets a beep in their ear. With this new system, when the main line is being utilized, the incoming call will roll over to the next available extension. No more busy signals, no more beeps in the ear. I met yesterday with Joe Blacksher and his project engineer for Ivanhoe Drive. They're part of Ivanhoe Drive from the Camelot intersection to Charmaine Drive East, and the plans are completed with just a couple of modifications. They're still on track for spring construction. Their specs mirror our engineering specs as outlined in a previous meeting with the county commissioner and both engineers. The road will have a 6-inch base topped with 2 inches of hot mix type D asphalt, and it'll be 24 inches wide. Our part from the monuments at the highway to Camelot will be the same specifications, and then from the Camelot intersection to Charmaine Drive East, our county commissioner will manage that. To that point, Mill Creek's finished, and that will be the best route in and out of the city once construction on this project begins. This is a lot to absorb, but I ask that you be patient and let us work our way through this minefield. One other note, I received this from our county commissioner this morning. Dear community, I'm writing to cordially invite everyone to join the National Day of Prayer, May the 1st, at the Tyler County Courthouse from 11 a.m. to noon. As the county judge, I'm honored to share this special day with our community leaders and members. We'll be gathering to give thanks for all that God has done for our great country and our county and our city. This is a wonderful opportunity for us to come together in unity and prayer, seeking God's guidance and wisdom for our nation and local communities. So that's a nice thing right there, if people would like to visit there. That's it for now.
Who gave the initial estimate on the dams, roads?
So LJA Engineering did the engineering estimates in 2020 during COVID when the cost of everything was high. We had no idea that the contractors were going to be coming in 4 or 5 years later at such a reduced price, or their bids were so much lower than the original estimate. I've gone round and round with the engineering company and the grant administrator, and they both say, hey, it is what it is. But we're going to do something.
We had spent the whole total amount and wouldn't owe them anything?
That's correct. If we had spent the total amount, we would owe them nothing. So it's a penalty for being good stewards.
Yeah.
So it's upside down and backwards, and I'm not a happy camper about it. Nobody should be. Sergeant Keene, sir, you're up. Can you come around this way? Not through. Okay, I guess you can make it through there. You had to pass the agility test.
Turn on the microphone.
Yes, sir. There's a button up there.
Not a trained microphone
I
operator.
know, it's so difficult.
It's just like a radio.
Okay. The chief is indisposed at the moment, so I'm going to give you what he wanted to pass on. My name's Tim Keene. I've been here since January, so I don't know a lot of y'all because I'm the night guy. I'm the janitor that works at night, so there's a lot of things that crawl around at night around here. I'm sure you know. Our roll-up for the month so far is 42 calls, 30 traffic stops, 16 citations, 20 warnings, 1 arrest. We've assisted outside DPS in the county on 2 different major wrecks, basically, out on the highway. There's 4 code enforcement cases going on right now. And my baby is the 3, we filed 3 felony warrants here in the past couple of weeks for a crew of 3 burglars. And I do not like burglars, but I like to catch them. So there's 2 guys and a girl, and we know who the girl is. And once we figure out who the other 2 are, they'll be, we're going to hit them with everything we can. Okay, so the magic number's 3. So if you have 3 or more doing a series of crimes, that actually makes it an organized crime operation. So your burglar, they've got a burglary of a habitation, burglary of vehicle, and when you have 3 or more people together doing this, then you have an organized crime charge on top of that, which is a level higher than the highest charge of the spree that they're involved in. So a burglary of a habitation is a 2nd-degree felony. The organized crime will be a 1st-degree. So it's a heavy-duty charge. And we just want them to know if they're breaking in houses around here, we're going to hammer them with everything we can. And the word will get out on the street, hopefully discourage some of this. The chief wanted to mention, try to keep your dogs in your yard if you can. Underage kids on the golf carts. Apparently there was a minor that ran into a car with a golf cart, and he got a ticket for having a bunch of other kids on the golf cart with him. But a golf cart's not actually a motor vehicle, so you don't have to have a license for it. But if you're a kid underage driving it, we have an issue. But that's about the high points we had on this, sir.
So do you want to kind of fill them in on the back table there?
Oh, yes. An anonymous donor in Georgetown, a Boston, worked for a different agency before here, and it's a lady, but she doesn't like to ever be recognized. She buys equipment for agencies, and the chief got in touch with her, and she donated everything on that back table there, and that's about $15,000 worth of stuff. It's some level 2 body armor for 7 people, 7 Kevlar helmets, 4 shields that you can carry in the car in case you have something that happens pretty quick. You can see through the shield. That's usually how it does happen. And all the Kevlar plates and everything that go with that.
First aid kits.
Yeah, the IFAC, individual first aid kits, same thing the military has. Got blood clotting stuff in there. It's got Israeli bandage, and tourniquet, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, severe wounds, whatever. Saved a lot of money.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. No
We appreciate your nighttime work. Public Works, David Marshall is currently in the hospital and was transferred to Lufkin yesterday. He's having some health issues, nothing life-threatening, but he does need to have medical attention. So I don't have a lot on the street report other than the construction work that we've done. The dams, Charmaine Dam has still got this a cavity out here with the steel plate over it. I've had conversation with Epoxy Designs. We're okay for now. I had Epoxy Designs come out and we walked Galahad Dam. We had ground penetrating radar done on the complete surface of Galahad Dam, and it has quite a few voids in it. There's nothing that looks like it's, how would I describe it? It's not catastrophic. There's nothing that's really dangerous. It just
Doesn't look like it goes all the way across from one lake to the other.
Yeah, so our intention is once we get through some of this minefield that we're dealing with is to have Epoxy Designs come out here, and we're going to bypass the soundings like we did on Charmaine Dam. That was an extra expense. Epoxy Designs could have come in and just cut the holes and looked in the dams instead of having someone drill holes and measure the cavity. So we're going to skip that step when the time comes and have Epoxy Designs just come and cut holes, look in there, and if it has a cavity, we'll fill it with flowable grout. And at that time, we'll do this void that surfaced out here on Charmaine Dam. Is there anything else that you can think of on the dams?
I don't know, I've noticed that over here, it doesn't look like as much sand's coming out as it used to.
Yeah, there's still,
Looks like it's a little bit, but not
yeah,
like it was.
yeah.
They're always gonna have a little bit coming out.
That's it for dams. Planning and zoning, they're working on some registration program for Airbnbs. That's all that I know at the moment. Tyler County Appraisal District, Justin resigned from the Tyler County Appraisal Board. I had a lady that we voted on. We appointed her. We voted on her, Georgia Moncrief. She has told me that David Luther did some research and said that she has to be a full-time resident here, so she's been disqualified. I need to talk to David Luther, and I need to find another person to appoint to that position. Now, at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Jerry. Yes. Hi. Anybody want any popcorn? Okay, Jerry, you're up.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Hi, Ivanhoe friends. Sorry I couldn't be there in person tonight, but I wanted to give you an update and very excited to introduce you to the new engagement portal. I'll share my screen with you in a moment, but you are welcome to log in on your phone or your tablet to the RCP engagement portal if you'd like, and I can give you that login if anyone's interested. It's the https:// then langfordplanning.com, another slash, and Ivanhoe-RCP, and that'll bring the portal up on your phone. but I'll go ahead and share my screen with you.
So that's langfordplanning.com/Ivanhoe/RCP.
That's it.
Okay.
Can you see my screen with the portal pulled up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, just a little bit about the portal. We've been working on this for quite some time, as we've mentioned along the way, and we developed the tool as a hub for review and to keep you updated of the progress on the comprehensive plan. And when we first started out, the RCP program was new, and Langford actually hired a developer person to try to build this portal for us. And after a year, it just really didn't quite capture what we wanted. And so we disregarded that and started over with the ArcGIS program. And you'll see the use of the ArcGIS. That's where we create the maps and the layering on for you to use even after the grant closes. It'll be all your infrastructure. I'll show you in a moment. But it really just didn't have the capabilities, or it had so many capabilities that it was hard to line up a true portal hub that we could use to communicate, first of all, with the council as the key stakeholders and the city staff, and then eventually for the community to use to look at the preliminary plan once it's passed through that process. So last year, at the end of the year, I found a platform and built this out based on what I've been hearing from the communities, and put together a portal that I think you'll be really excited to use. Of course, it's open 24/7, so that's the most exciting part. You can see at any time where we are in the process, what's going on with the comp plan. You can look at the preliminary draft of the goals and objectives, and eventually, very quickly, looking at the preliminary chapters. The map is interactive. So, and so is the review process. You can click and put comments in. As we develop special studies and more the strategic part of the plan, you'll be able to participate with that as well. Zoning review will have we have a place where that's going to be stored. Right now it's scope of work, but we are not waiting till the end to review those zoning and code ordinances to see if they meet the resiliency codes, but that will be a place you can go as well. The community survey results, we didn't get a lot in the first go of the survey, but I would like to work with Haley and get it out again and start really encouraging the community to participate. That'll still be on the Survey Monkey tool for right now, where we'll send it out through a QR code in the press and so forth to get more people interested in giving us some feedback. We have a subscription that as we roll it out to the public, they can stay in the loop by sending their email address. The back end reports everyone that gets on the email list, and we can keep everyone updated of events, updates, things going on with the comp plan. As we look into the portal, the timeline you'll see to the right, or if you're on the phone, it's down at the bottom, but we have your contract execution date through the kickoff, things that are already complete. You'll see the data collection and base studies in just a moment, and the community engagement will be ongoing. These two at the bottom, the preliminary draft development, are in process, but will be reviewed. You'll be notified when it's ready to review. But we put a little bit of information about what the comprehensive plan requirements are, and you've seen these, but we just want to have it handy as you're reviewing things to keep it in mind. The resiliency factors, again, this is what makes this comp plan different. We have to make sure that we consider your hazard mitigation plans and other assessment to make sure it is resilient in case of emergencies. What you'll be able to do is give your expert review. It's your community. You know what's going on. You know the challenges you've seen both yesterday and tomorrow. And so we need to get that information from you and make sure that we're considering it as we build the plan. As you review, just again, you can go through this on time, but we want to make sure you're looking at things to consider while you're reviewing the plan. Then we get into the interactive part, and it shows how to review the preliminary draft segments. You can browse through the entire thing at once. You can go through a summary, or it has an AI search tool. So this is the summary that's pulled up right now, and you could go through it page by page, and I've put in little notes about why resiliency matters. This is for Ivanhoe specific. These are the milestones that we turned into GLO and were approved, by the way. You all were some of the first to go through that system of approval, and of course we set the standard. That's what we've been doing with this whole program, and it's just all the basic information you'll see as you scroll through. You can read it again, like I said, by page, talking about what we do with your feedback, little notes along the way. It goes through the resiliency goals, into the community risk assessments, and then into Dennis's base studies. You'll see population, housing, the water infrastructure, future housing needs. We're still on housing there. Water systems, everything that we've studied, collected, put together, are included in this initial review. And what you can do with the summary is you can go through and just pull it up and say, you know, I really want to look at, you can jump around a little bit. Let's say windstorms. There's been a lot of wind lately. It'll take you right to that section. You can make a comment by placing a marker. And when you place a marker, it pulls up a place to put your name, your email, and a comment. We've left this open for the stakeholders review. When we open it to the public, we have the choice to be anonymous, but we can decide about that. You can look at any segment that you want and jump right to it. If you want to look at the housing study, it'll jump right over and make a comment, or look at other comments as you all make those comments. If you want to just do a search because you're thinking, well, maybe I'll just go to windstorm and see what's see what happens there, and it'll pull up, it'll do a search through AI, and it'll pull up every area in the plan that has things about windstorms. And then you can review it. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So it makes it an easy way for us to get in touch with you, for you to review it and give us feedback. And this will be included and integrated into the plan. And then as we build the strategy on top of it, that's the second part of the review process. But I will keep you posted and keep you involved along the way. As I mentioned, zoning ordinances, you can click here. This is mainly just the scope of work right now, but as it's developed and reviewed, we'll post that. Same with the community input. I'll be posting that soon as we get more input from the community. We don't have to have all of this at once on the page, but I wanted to give you all just some ideas of what's available for us to look at. This is the interactive map exercise. So this is your land use. I know we've done some work, but we posted it as just a blank map. You can increase the size. You can make a comment on a particular intersection, a problem area. You can add a marker, make a comment. Everyone's comment stays and shows until we reset it so that you can review properly. We do have a moderation window in each of these as we move into the public community engagement, because we don't want anybody putting, you know, weird stuff or negative things, and we'll have a chance to review that before we actually post anything to public. This picture, Ivanhoe in 2030, it's a really fun tool to ask the community to post a picture, a video, or just a comment with some ideas. And some of the examples I gave were, you know, a picture of an empty lot with ideas for a cafe or a splash pad for the kids, some things like that. And it's a little more visual and fun to do. I've included frequently asked questions. You all have probably been answered we've probably answered these from you all, but I just included it in case we didn't cover something. The final piece that I am showing you today is another interactive piece. It's called Share Your Vision, and this is like one of the charrettes exercises. As the communication is put in here, it'll show up like a little yellow sticky pad, and we can do 12 to 24 at a time, and we can put this together for things that I just made up one for fun. Just share your vision, what you love, what needs attention, and your hopes for the community's future. So really a lot of interactive tools on this, but the most important thing in my mind is what I've heard from all of you communities is, what are you doing and what's going on and where are we on the timeline? So if you look, we hope to have your final approval ready for approval by 12/25. Zoning ordinances, we have a little extended time for those, but you're probably about a year ahead of that 30-month schedule. I know it seems like it takes forever, but that's, really wanting to show you where we are and what's going on. So that's the portal. Do you have any questions, comments?
No, ma'am, not at the moment. It's a pretty
What
picture
do
of
you
Lake
think?
Tristan, though.
Isn't that pretty?
Yeah. It always looks so
So-
blue from the air.
It does. It's a beautiful area. You all have a really beautiful area. What do you think about it? Do you think it'll be useful and easy to make comments and participate?
I think so. We've got to figure out how to get this out to the masses so that they, get people interested in it and submitting their emails to be able to stay on top of it, make their submissions and suggestions.
Yeah, you bet. And I hear that often. I'll help you with some of the social media stuff and the postings. One of the communities last week said they would like to put just a computer terminal in the city hall. So when people come in to make comments or to pay their bills or to do whatever, visiting the city hall, or an invitation to come by, log in or be logged in where they can see it live and show them how to use it and just have it there ready for them to look at.
Okay.
So does her company give the answers back?
So does Langford give the answers back or answer the questions that arise?
From the comments,
Yes, ma'am.
we have a report that we'll work with you to review. If it's something we can answer simply, we will, but if it's something that needs consideration from the city, we'll definitely pass that on and work with you on that.
Anything else? It is Langford Planning, all run together, .com/Ivanhoe/RCP.
Dash RCP.
Oh, dash RCP, dash Romeo Charlie Papa. No further questions.
Okay, no excuses. I want to see some comments on this, guys.
I hear you. I hear you. You've done a lot of work.
Okay, great. Talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye. What did y'all think? We did one of these once before. It was a $30,000 grant that really it was a package deal that was set on top of the city, and the city was supposed to come in alignment with it, and it just didn't work because it wasn't made for Ivanhoe. This one is a lot more money, but we're able to tailor it to fit Ivanhoe rather than us having to make Ivanhoe fit something else.
So is it paid for with the grant?
Yes, actually it's a $300,000 grant, and it's CD actually is the one that got me to go after it, because I didn't see the benefit of it initially, but then he started talking about disasters and what do we do in a shooter situation? What do we do if there's a big fire that's consuming big areas and the likes, and that's what got me going. So I thank you, CD, for giving me the poke. Now then, this resolution is for 22nd Street, correct? And a resolution of the City Council of the City of Ivanhoe, Texas, authorizing me, the mayor, or his designee, to submit a contract amendment request for the Texas Community Development Block Grant Program, the Community Development Fund contract between the City of Ivanhoe and the Texas Department of Agriculture. That's the contract number, not that it means anything, CDB 21-0378. Whereas the City of Ivanhoe entered a contract with the State of Texas to make improvements to the city's water system, and whereas the City of Ivanhoe wishes to remove a portion of the street activities from the contract, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Ivanhoe, Texas. 1, the City Council authorizes a contract amendment request be submitted to the Texas Department of Agriculture for the following purposes. Amend Exhibit A, the performance statement, to state reconstruct approximately 1,450 linear feet of road, including rock, riprap, structural fill, limestone base, prime coat, HMAC, road preparation, right-of-way preparation, and regrade approximately 2,900 linear feet of roadside and all associated appurtenances. How do you say? Appurtenances. Thank you, ma'am. I knew we had you for a reason. This will benefit 5 persons with 100% low to moderate income. And it will reconstruct approximately 700 linear feet. Approximately 700 linear feet of road, including rock, riprap, structural fill, limestone base, prime coat, HMAC, road preparation, right-of-way preparation, and approximately regrade 1,400 linear feet of roadside and all associated appurtenances. Is that it? What? Say it again.
Appurtenances.
Appurtenances. Thank you. This amendment will benefit a total of 7 persons with 100% low to moderate income. City Council directs and authorizes the mayor to execute all necessary documents as may be required to initiate and process this contract amendment request. Do I have a motion to
Make a motion to accept
the resolution?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Ms. Williams, financial report, please. Drum roll, please.
Was it on? Okay. All of the financial documents, the state bank statements, were sent to council on April 11th, including account and financial reports and the reconciliation details for each account. The state comptroller direct deposited $6,912 on April 11th for sales and use taxes that were collected in February and reported to the comptroller in March. Last month, the sales tax deposit was $7,112. March ad valorem taxes were received April 3rd, totaling $30,466, with $24,636 going to maintenance and operations, and $5,830 for the interest and sinking fund. We received no payment for Ivanhoe North. The calculated balance of delinquent taxes stands at $731,283 as of March 31st.
That's an,
Temporarily, but it stays steady for the majority of the year, and then around tax time, it'll kind of fluctuate. Texas class interest rates have remained about 4.2% through the end of March. There is nothing new to report with Citizens State Bank. After reviewing the totals for the various departments, the budgets are correct, the bank statements have been reconciled, and I believe the March financials can be approved.
I have a motion to approve the March financials.
I make the motion to approve it.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor? I think it's worth noting that I need to open 2 new accounts for the court building security and the court technical fund,
Yes,
the technology fund.
yes.
So we've been commingling those for a long time, and they're supposed to be segregated and used specifically for those particular type of items, like building security and,
Yes, there'll be 2 separate accounts.
okay. So I'm on the hook for that.
Yes, we'll be doing that early next week.
Okay,
Will that be with Citizen State Bank also?
Yes,
yes, sir.
yes, we'll be doing that with Citizens State Bank. It'll be 2 more sub-accounts that we have already.
Okay.
We've already got 4 with them. So this one will be specifically for the court.
So I have a question now for you. Do we, with regard to this potential balloon payment that we're looking at, do we need to discuss that here, or can we take it offline, or?
I would get in communication we can get in communication with the grant administrator, see what's going on there, and go from there.
Okay,
You don't have to discuss it now.
so,
I wouldn't discuss it until they really send you a bill for it.
okay.
And that's when it would, if they do.
Well, we
In my
have,
opinion.
okay, that's good to know. So what I'll do is, we've got those 2 big contracts or projects that we have yet to finish the engineering on.
Yeah.
And we still have to bid them out. We have no idea how they're gonna come in. There's a lot of labor that's gonna be entailed in the S-turn on Tristan because of the box culverts. They're gonna be built on site instead of precast. And that's because the precast, you have 2 walls with a seam in between and water can penetrate.
Right.
With the built on site, you have a shared wall and there's no way for water to penetrate between the two culverts. They have to build 300 feet of them, and that's gonna be pretty labor intensive, and I expect it's gonna be costly and hopefully chew up some of that grant money.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'd see what the bid for those 2 projects are, and then go from there.
Okay, so your
I've never
advice
heard
is
of
to,
this.
pardon?
I've never heard of this.
So your advice
Yeah.
is for us to shelve it for now
I
and,
would.
and just see how, let it play out a little further?
I would.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that gonna delay the start of
Oh, no. No, it's not gonna delay anything. We're moving full speed ahead. The delay with Mill Creek and Ivanhoe Drive was, well, it was legal issues between Texas Materials and the city and the engineering company. It was primarily because of the 3 roads that we could not accept, that being Galahad Loop, 22nd Street, and Lake Camelot Circle, because we had vertical and longitudinal cracks that were a ½ inch wide and in some cases 23 inches deep, complete sub-base failure. Camelot Circle was not treated properly. It was treated with cement when it needed to be treated with lime. It was wet and muddy. It was raining, and either one of those conditions should have been enough for them to not lay the asphalt. Texas Materials came back. They took and sent the specs and the contract to a third-party engineering company. It was a two-man band that had been in business for 3 years, and they could find nothing wrong with the specs, so they looked at the contract and found one sentence they took out of context and hung everything on that, and came to us and said they wanted $123,000 from the city to fix their mistake. I got a decision letter from LJA Engineering, and I sent it to the two project managers and the president of the company of Texas Materials, and said, we cannot accept these roads. We reject all of them. Here's the decision statement. And it was, somebody told the two project managers to get in here and get this stuff fixed, because all of a sudden this $123,000 bill vanished, and they're in here doing the work, and they're trying real hard to do things right at this point, but they've really ripped their britches with us for future considerations. And it's a shame, because they have a regional monopoly on materials. They have bought all of the asphalt plants. They've bought all of the ready-mix cement plants. They're a materials company. Elite Construction, that's doing Lakewood, has to buy all of their material from Texas Materials. And how Elite was able to undercut Texas Materials by $1 million, or I don't remember how much it was. It was considerable. Says a great deal about the profit margins that Texas Materials is running, which I'm not against profit.
Yeah.
There has to be enough in there for them to hold their interest and to, make a profit while satisfying their customer, but we don't need them to get rich off of Ivanhoe either.
Yeah.
But at any rate, that's what held everything up, and we have a path forward, and they're doing everything they can to get it straight. Throughout all of this, Mill Creek was on hold. They stopped working on Ivanhoe Drive. They stopped work on every project. Now they've got 22nd Street done. They're going to hit Galahad Loop. I wish they would hit Camelot Circle first, but I think they'll get it all done before we start work on Camelot Dam. We don't want them all, bumping into each other.
Yeah.
So that's it. I don't have anything else.
Did you get a motion on the financial report?
I did.
You did?
I did. And a second. And
Sorry,
it's okay.
wanted to make sure.
I appreciate that. There's a lot of moving parts this evening. At any rate, we have a motion to adjourn. I have nothing further. Does anybody else, any comments?
Well, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
We didn't spend all the money.
Mm-hmm.
The part that's left over, can we pay that money they say we're on the hook for out of that money that was left over?
That's not the current decision that they've made. That money is being deallocated for the HUD program.
Well, but that expense of the grant administrator and the engineering. was
You're
part of
preaching to the choir. You're preaching to the choir. I mean, I've already had this conversation, and I asked, why am I just now finding out about this? And I was told that it was like in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and there's been nothing in writing. It's just two ladies making these arbitrary decisions. They're grabbing as much money back as they can.
Who are these two ladies?
I have their names, but I can't recall them. I'm waiting. They're at GLO.
GLO, okay. Well, are we gonna be, these new contracts that are coming up, like for Camelot Dam, are we gonna have the same problem with that if we don't spend all of it?
We already have a problem with Camelot Dam. That's where the $500,000 comes in. So Lakewood's only $123,000.
Well, we haven't built Camelot Dam yet, so how do they know what the cost is?
Because we have hard fixed quotes with a contract that's been signed with the contractor, Lakey, that's going to come in and rebuild the dam. They came in $1 million below what the estimate was. So the way the engineer described it to me, it's like, think it like you're roofing your house, and you get a bid for the roofing your house, but the contractor uses a cheaper shingle. You're still going to have to pay him for his time. And I sat there and I thought about that, and I said, well, I can see how you would say that, but this is not the same thing. Their position is they still did the engineering work, and I don't dispute that. What I dispute is the balloon payment that we're being hung, potentially being hung with.
Well, to me, if we have to pay for the engineering work, it should come out of that contract. And if
Well,
there's
absolutely.
money left over, it should pay for it.
Absolutely. You can call the General Land Office. Be my guest.
We may have to get our state rep and state senator.
I said that I was on the next steps were to contract Trent Aspey and Dawn Buckingham, the commissioner of the General Land Office, although I've been told she won't do anything but hand it off to her subordinates. But you know, I'm not going to sit here and not do anything, Chuck. We're gonna.
I realize that. I'm just trying to wrap my head around this.
It's a lot to absorb. You're where I was 10 days ago, and I've lost sleep over it. I wake up at 3 in the morning and stare at the ceiling, wondering what in the world is going to come of this. This grant was supposed to be a gift from God, and it's turned into a nightmare. As it sits right now. But the goal is to work through this minefield and resolve it somehow. That's what we have you for.
We'll figure it out.
We'll fix.
Bottom of it, for sure.
Yeah.
We're just lucky that you're not just sitting on it and just going, oh, it's all gonna work out. So,
No. I'm a fighter, right, CD? So is there any other discussion or any other questions, comments, suggestions? I'm open to anything. I'd really hope Joe would be here tonight because he sat in on the conference call with the grant administrator and the engineering company. And, you know, I thought I was okay with numbers. He is a whiz at numbers. He can look at this sheet of numbers and tell if the total at the bottom is wrong with just looking at it. He's amazing. But you know, and he and I are in total agreement that there's something wrong with the costing formula that they're going to market with. And we're going to address it. That's what you get paid the big bucks for.
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
What else? Anything else?
Yeah, make a motion to close the meeting.
Second?
second.
All in favor? We stand adjourned.
I heard that one.